Well, a very good evening to you, and you're welcome to Newsnight here on Metro TV. My name is Annie Ifwampofu. We're live from the Akua Bohema studio at North Ridge. Follow us on DSTV channel 277 and also on social media. Facebook is MetroTVGhana.com and on Instagram and Twitter is MetroTV_GH. Follow us there and send us your comments about those stories. Let's take a look at the headlines of the stories coming up. Unknown persons pulled down billboards promoting the activities of the LGBTQ plus community after it sparked wrath among some Ghanaians. Meanwhile, some MPs have demanded the removal of chairman of Parliament's Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee of the Parliament over the slow pace of work on the LGBTQ plus bill.
Absolutely unfit. I have no doubt in mind that his constituency is totally against this LGBTQ nonsense. Yet, for whatever reason, he should tell us the motivation he's doing what he's doing.
Now, COVID-19 Trust Fund reveals it has so far received 62 million cedis since its establishment in March 2020. The expenditure of it will tell you more. News from elsewhere. There are some stories within the Peru mine, and we'll bring you some details of what's happening within the mining sector. You're welcome back. Now, some unknown persons have pulled down a billboard on the Shashi stretch, which was promoting the activities of LGBT community. Now, this comes after lead advocate for the proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values on Thursday stormed the site of the erected pro-LGBTQI plus billboard along the Accra-Tema motorway. Now, we will see visuals of the pull-down billboard, but first, let's hear from the MPs giving the Inspector General of Police and city authorities 24 hours to pull down the billboards promoting the activities of LGBT plus on the streets of Accra.
The MPs who stormed the site with some civil society organizations wondered why city authorities had allowed such billboard to be erected at strategic locations within the capital city. MP for Ningo Pram Pram, Sam Nate George, and his colleague from South Dai, Roxon Nelson Dafiemekpo, demanded the arrest and prosecution of persons behind the billboards.
We are by this calling on the Inspector General of Police, Dr. Dampare Ekufu, to immediately, within the next 24 hours, carry out the necessary security operations to ensure that this billboard, which is an affront to the 1992 Constitution, is taken down in conjunction with the MCE for the area. Failure to take action, as citizens, we will take action as enjoined by our Constitution to defend the Constitution.
We'll be on recess for 7 weeks. He refused to call a meeting for us to consider this bill. Meanwhile, we have 167 petitions. We've not considered more than 30. So we still have over 100 memos and petitions regarding this matter to consider. But our standing order says that when referrals are made to committees, it shouldn't last more than 3 weeks. If 3 months, if you want extension of time, you ask the speaker to do so for you. So even the 3 month rule has been breached. So we are asking, is he committed to doing this or he's not? If he's not, he should resign. He should leave the committee for another to come and chair the committee for for the work to be done.
The group took on chairman for the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, Kwame Ayimedu Entwi, alleging he's being compromised by the LGBTQI plus advocates to frustrate the current bill before his committee in spite of his denial.
The NPP government won on the mantra of the battle is the Lord's. And the president puts out his faith in the Lord out to all of us. And that's beautiful. But you see, it is important that we enforce the matters that are counter to God's will. That's very important. So there is a higher spiritual obligation on the members of parliament of the ruling government to ensure that the bill is passed.
Persons along the session where the billboard has been erected are surprised.
Ghana ne yewo no yewo ya mamre ene ye bibia yewo ha. Ye nim sade ye mpanifo no ma ko school ye o ma sua de o munum se ene ma we ne ye de se ti o mu furu o mu ma flase ya obode nyina bedu by this time. And this o mo dwene hunu se so oba no oba tumi da eyeye na ne maame ne maame antumi ana ansa ne ye wo mo de a ye pom twa o man no ye tie man mu ye mpese o mo de ablofo sam e ba be haye o ma we mu
ebla mo gina no kase mu interview na o se ayi DIPK hwan minim se sitie eti no o tem se man memma emeda no obasambo ni enti me tia se somebody be sika because had ne yin tum o mam anu
ade musuo no mo di baga na so anase eye den se oba ni oba beda be ma ni be ma nso beda oh painful se mu de beti sa de ende mu nko amunye mu ifa ye mo yere no mu ni mu ma no mu ni ntinu
Meanwhile, a human rights activist has described the action of the proponents of the anti-LGBTQI plus bill to get the billboard pulled down as primitive.
For me, I think it's unnecessary to call the IGP to do such a thing when there are very important issues standing by that we need to pay attention to. This is clearly a civic space that is open, and they need to respect the right of every individual. Article 21 of our Constitution gives us every right to express ourselves as Ghanaians.
Now, my colleague just returned from the area where the billboard has been pulled down and has more in the following report.
This billboard just behind me had the advertisement promoting the gay rights and also the sensitization of the gay month. That is the month June, which has been termed as the Pride Month. But as I report to you at this very moment, this billboard has been pulled down with its banners removed from it. So they are left with only the metal pillars that are expected to hold the banner. Now, the intention of this group of people, the queer community, is to create awareness and also let the people of the country know that they are not in to cause any harm, but they are in to fight for their right. But the intention has been mad as we speak. As to who did this, no one can tell. I've tried to talk to some few people to know when this banner or this billboard was pulled down, but as it stands, we don't have any information yet. This is an indication that the citizenry, the country, and authority and lawmakers are not so happy with the intention of the queer community. Reporting for Metro News, Elvis Ando, Tema Accra Motorway, Accra.
Now let's do some more from the House of Parliament. A member of Parliament for Tamale Central, Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed, has descended heavily on the LGBTQ plus community for disregarding Ghanaian values and going ahead to erect the billboard. Now, he further accused the majority side of the House for being hypocritical on the sensitivity of the matter.
What they did there was illegal, to be very honest. If I was there, I would have pulled down that thing. I am telling you that, honestly, if I was there, I wouldn't have given the IGP 24 hours to pull it down. Before God and man, wallahi, I would have pulled it down, regardless the consequences. What they have done there is a complete violation of what is an acceptable norm in this country and in this continent. The chairman of the the committee is very clear. He's no longer fit to be the chairman of the committee, absolutely unfit to be the chairman of the committee. And he should tell us what his interest is. And I want to speak directly to the people he represents in Parliament. I have no doubt in mind that his constituency is totally against this LGBTQ nonsense. Yet, for whatever reason, he should tell us the motivation he's doing what he's doing. But you see, it is not just him. This government is promoting the LGBTQ nonsense. If this government is not promoting it, they should tell us their position. What this government is doing, and the members of parliament from the MPP who are so cowardized that they can't even speak their mind publicly, what they are doing is that they are mocking God. They are mocking our values. They are mocking our culture and principles. That is precisely what they are doing. And let they not come start attacking me. They should attack the issues I have raised. If you are a member of parliament in this parliament, and you are a member of parliament of the MPP, speak out. Speak out. What is the fear? And I have seen some of our colleagues, I don't know whether for want of getting visas to travel for whatever relationship, before God and man, if I need to remain in Ghana my entire life, I will remain in Ghana. Let me ask you a simple question. How come that when this Western world go to countries who have made it very, very clear their opposition and punishing people who are engaged in this, places like Saudi, the Gulf, why is it that they are not talking about human rights and LGBTQ? Why are they not talking about that? I think that in voting for this, when it comes to that, nobody is going to sit on the fence. And it is not going to be a secret ballot. We are going to vote publicly and everybody must show his position. And I think just the nonsense is just getting too much. Why is this so? Look, I'm not speaking on this one just as a Muslim, even though my religion condemns it. And maybe if I want to speak even as a Muslim, the Quran is very clear that when people who are engaged in this are engaged in it, and you do not speak against it, you don't fight it, that when the punishment of Allah comes, it is not going to distinguish between those who were promoting it and those who are not promoting it.
Now we're joined via Zoom by Francis Dajer. He is Executive Director of the Advertising Association of Ghana. For more on this, Francis, thank you for joining us. Good evening to you. What are the initial reactions that you have on this billboard brouhaha, first of all?
Good evening to your viewers. The name is Francis Dazi.
Dazi.
Dazi. Yes,
thank you.
That's the name. Thank you. So, in the first place, I think that the creative that is on that billboard must be legal. Advertising strives on legality, decency, the cultural norms and practices of the people. So you cannot just get up and advertise anything just for that sake. So these are some of the tenets that guide advertising. And I think that whoever put up that creative on that billboard, the owner of the billboard may not have realized or recognized that the content and the creative was promoting an illegality in this country. So it is good attention has been drawn to, and I'm sure that the owner of that billboard have done the needful. I have been made aware ever since this came with my investigations that there are some of the boards also in Kumasi and Tamale. What is illegal per our laws cannot be advertised, and so therefore I think that whoever did it or whoever put that board there, they did out of ignorance.
So we do not know who pulled the billboard down yet. However, take us through the procedure. What are the processes of putting up a billboard, and how do you link the legal tenets to it when you're putting up a billboard? What Ghana frowns on, for example, the LGBT, for example, that has not been passed yet. How do you link it if you're putting up a billboard having information of LGBT? What are the things one has to go through?
I think that the practice of same-sex is abhorred by the laws and things of Ghana, and so you don't need the LGBT law was only coming in to give emphasis and extend the coverage of those to make sure that the laws are expanded in certain areas that covers that practice. But for all intents and purposes, per the Constitution, same-sex marriage is not allowed. It's abhorred. It's clear. Now, in terms of putting up a billboard, if it's a new billboard, this billboard happens to be existing site or existing billboard already. The only thing that happened was that a new creative material, or we call it flexi, was placed on it by the owner of the board, who was approached by the queer community. Now, if you want to put up a new billboard, the procedure is to go to the local or district assembly, who are enjoined by the Local Government Act to give permits for temporary structures. The billboards are referred to as temporary structures because it is a 1-year cycle permit, which is renewable. So you go to the assembly and apply for the permit. They will give you a form which have some basic information. One is the name of the company applying for that permit, the location, the type of board, the size, and then you are required to add a site plan and a structural drawing of the billboard to the application or the application form. When this is received by the assembly, the Land Use and Spatial Planning Department of the local assembly would then constitute an inspection team who would go to and visit the site to physically inspect the location to make sure that one, ECD lines are not going to be encumbered, Ghana water pipes are not going to be affected by the excavations, the road reservation, i.e. the space from the road edge to the pedestrian walkway are not also going to be encumbered. 3, if there's an existing billboard at that location, the spacing requirement between the current board that is being space that is being applied for and the existing billboard meet the Ghana Standards Authority standards on outdoor advertising spacing requirement. It meets those parameters. If those parameters are marked or ticked, then the assembly goes back with the report to the planning committee of the assembly, who will deliberate, and if it's approved, you will be written to and informed of the permit fee to pay, and when you make that payment, the payment will be given to you. So that is the process. If you have done that already, and therefore the board already exists, then you have to go and apply for a renewal every year of the permit. So all other things being equal, it is assumed that this board has met that cycle because we're in the middle of the year. We're not in the beginning of the year. And so therefore it's assumed that it is an existing board, and they approach whoever owns the board to rent it a month or 2 or 3. There's a cycle to advertise whatever they want to advertise. But the point is that from the kind of artwork and design that is presented, maybe the owner of the board did not recognize that it is an illegality that the promoters were trying to do. Yes.
How serious is it, as far as your work is concerned, how serious is it if you offend the state this way?
It is criminal, and therefore criminal prosecution per the laws of the land must take place. And so from our point of view, you are blacklisted from practicing, but we must recognize that for all intents and purposes, those who own that billboard are not members of the association. So we have a group of people who are fly-by-night people who are out there. Almost 70% of the boards and the structures you see in medians and other things are illegal structures that have been mounted. And the Metropolitan and District Assemblies must be up and collaborate with us, including the Ministry of Local Government, to make sure that we protect the public from all these that is going on.
Is the Advertisers Association going to, get active as far as mounting of billboards are concerned? Because we seem to have quite a number of illegal billboards around. Some have overstayed their welcome. Some are mounted without permission. There's all kinds of, levels of breaches of the law as far as billboards, are concerned. Are you going to, show some interest, especially going down into the rural areas as far as LGBTQ, which has not been legalized yet, is concerned?
Thank you. The powers of removals of such structures are in the bosom of the local assemblies, MCs and district assemblies. They have the power to move. What we can do is they engage us as stakeholders. In fact, I must put on record that it is only the Dadekotoko Municipal Assembly who have been engaging us regularly, and we have been giving them direction on some of these aspects of the law and giving them we even have to organize a session under the Regional Coordinating Council for all the 29 metropolitan assemblies in the Greater Accra region to know the rules and regulations and standards required for permitting some of these structures. We have done that for the Greater Accra. We're expecting that in the next few days, we will engage the Minister of Local Government to see how we can expand that scope and also educate all the other assemblies in the country to understand that there are laws and regulations, the Road Traffic Regulation LI 2180, Section 188, which guides us in the placement of these boards so that the medians that we have from the Legon area, from Legon Tetekwashi area to National Theatre area, the Conference Center area to the Reach Hospital area, the Ring Road Central, from Obecha Bilamte to Circle, all the medians that have signs are an illegality that is being perpetrated on the people of this country. And so therefore, the assemblies must rise up and ensure, you see the police headquarters under the leadership of the IGP has to move all the signs in front of the police headquarters, the medians, and are beautifying the medians. That is the purpose of medias, not to be used for advertising. Now, let me put on record that the medians are one of the reasons why the street lights are not being able to repair or function. It is the media signs. Right. They are perforating the cables underground and affecting the cables underground, which is an illegality.
Right.
That is what is going on.
Right. I thank you, Francis Dazi, Executive Director of Advertisers Association of Ghana, for speaking to us. We'll get back to you as we advance the discussion on this issue coming up. Let's do some more stories. Now we shift into COVID-19. And the National COVID-19 Trust Fund has so far received 62 million Ghana cedis into its coffers. Managers of the fund have, however, disbursed 50 million to support education on COVID prevention and protection and other social intervention programs. Chairperson for the fund, Sophia Kufu, lamented that the depletion of the fund and called on the benevolent individuals and organizations to continue to support it.
The COVID-19 Trust Fund was established in 2020 to receive contributions towards assisting the government in its fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. According to Chairperson of the Trust Fund, since its establishment, it has received an amount of 62 million cedis, out of which about 50 million have been used to cater for various interventions.
The COVID-19 National Trust Fund has to date received a total amount of 62,330,591 cedis and 67 pesos. At the same time, the Trust Fund has disbursed an amount of 50 million in support of health, preventive, detective, and curative areas. Also to support education on preventive and protective measures, and also to educate the public against stigmatization.
She said the use of the funds have been very transparent and called on benevolent individuals and organizations to continue to lend their support to the fund as the country continues to record fresh COVID-19 cases.
We have now reached a critical point where the general public and potential contributors have unfortunately fallen under the misapprehension that COVID-19 is over. And it is most likely that support and resource flow to the trust fund will further reduce in the foreseeable future.
Presidential Advisor on Health, Dr. Anthony Nsiasari says progress is being made in making Ghana a vaccine manufacturing hub.
We have a roadmap. We have the short term, medium term, and long term. We are hoping that in the long term, by 10 years' time, we shall produce our own candidate vaccine in this country. So that when there's any pandemic in this country, we will be like the other countries, and they will not sit down and wait for all these new political things which are going on with vaccine production. We've been doing a lot of stakeholder consultation that in the next 2 years, we want to have at least working together with BioNTech and the African project of Rwanda and Senegal. We are going to do a fill and finish for BioNTech vaccine for COVID.
COVID-19 Trust Fund has donated 1.8 million cedis to the Center for the Plant Medicine Research in Mampong to support research into the development of the herbal products or the treatment of COVID-19 infections.
The donation, according to chairperson of the COVID-19 Trust Fund, will help the Herbal Research Center undertake thorough investigation and possibly develop products that will combat emerging viruses.
The purpose of this financial support is to fund research into the development of herbal products against SARS-CoV-2 virus and the COVID-19 virus. The main objectives of the above-mentioned research by CPMR are 1. To carry out further preclinical studies on the 2 FDA registered products and 6 other medicinal plant extracts to confirm and establish preclinical efficacy against the virus and safety. And 2, formulation and reformulation of immune support and antiviral products against COVID-19.
Executive Director of the Center for Plant Medicine Research says his outfit is well positioned to become a world-class center for the manufacture of herbal products.
The Center for Plant Medicine Research is in a unique position to lead in research and this development agenda of novel drugs from medicinal plants, especially for emerging diseases, such as just yesterday on the news we heard of the monkeypox virus. I make an earnest and urgent appeal to you to help the center receive the necessary funding to embark on this rigorous drug development exercise from medicinal plants so that we will be able to transform not only the lives of our people, but the economy of our dear country, Ghana.
Managers of the fund charged the CPMR to ensure the judicious use of the money.
Well, you're still watching Metro News Night here with us at Kia Boahema studio of North Ridge. Let's go for a break. When we come back, we still have some more stories coming up. Welcome back to Newsnight here on Metro TV. Now let's do some more stories. There is an easy calm in Sekondi Takoradi following speculation that the dreaded monkeypox disease has found its way into the western region. Now some teachers in the Sekondi Takoradi have commenced sensitization of pupils against activities likely to introduce them to the deadly disease.
Some Ghanaians are on high alert following the confirmation of 5 cases of monkeypox in the eastern, Bono, and Greater Accra regions. Teachers in the Sekondi Takoradi metropolis have begun sensitizing pupils against contraction, considering dangers associated with the disease. Madam Martha Ansan teaches in Sekondi Takoradi and says teachers are alarmed by the news.
We should all be cautious and we should there should be awareness on the disease. There should be more publicity on it so that we can recognize the symptoms and report it as early as possible. I urge the government to put measures in place to help curb the situation. If there is any, maybe vaccination to be done against it, I believe the government should be up and doing to get the necessary vaccines.
For his part, assistant head teacher of Nana Bedu Bones Basic School, Damte Boedu, said the disease remained fearful.
We have to do more education on the children, that they should be careful what they touch, they should be careful who they touch, and they shouldn't go to where places are crowded so that there will be overcrowding, body contact. They should avoid that so that we prevent ourselves from this monkeypox.
One of the pupils, Bismarck Atimo, also called on government to take drastic measures against the spread of the disease.
The government should do something about it so that it will not spread in Ghana and in some schools.
Some 32 aspirants who so far picked their nomination forms to contest the various positions in the MPP upcoming national executive elections. 22 candidates, which includes John Boedu, Professor Ameyawe Kumfi, Kate Jimfua, among 19 candidates, picked their nomination forms yesterday, while 10 persons, including Stephen Ntim, Charles Bisu, among others, also picked the forms today.
As part of the processes leading to the election of national executive officers, the governing New Patriotic Party opened nominations for prospective aspirants from June 8 to June 12. A total of 32 aspirants have so far picked up their nominations for various positions. Party headquarters is painted with candidates' posters showing their readiness for the upcoming elections. Almost all the 32 candidates that have picked their nomination forms so far were not there in person, but rather sent their personal aid for the forms. But some supporters of the New Patriotic Party say it will be suicidal on the party if delegates do not retain the incumbent General Secretary, John Boedu.
John Boedu, we must be very grateful for John Boedu from taking us in 2016. We only had 103 seats in Parliament. And then he took over, took us all the way up to 165. Why shouldn't we maintain him? He is the one that is going to break the 8 for us. We care less about the others. What experience do they have? What experience do they have? John Boedu is the only experienced person that can help us break the 8. And we are very sure that our seat will definitely come back to us. You have to understand the dynamics of politics.
NPP General Secretary hopeful Charles Bisu is very optimistic he will win the General Secretary position for the upcoming national delegate election. According to Charles Bisu, the party needs fresh candidates with a good track record to ensure the party breaks the 8 in the 2024 elections.
Confident, but I'm not complacent. I will go to the delegates in each constituency, speak to them, appeal to them, tell them what I can do, what I've done before, and the way forward. And I believe with that they will listen to me. Remember that I've done this for 8 years, so I think the way to go is to speak to them and appeal to them.
He therefore called on all delegates to vote for him massively to ensure the party retains power. The process for form picking will end on June 12th, and the filing of the nomination forms continue from June 13 to 15, 2022 at the party's headquarters in Accra.
Now, to some educational stories. Now, the executive director of EduWatch has urged government to provide attractive packages for the teachers posted to rural areas as a sure means of reducing the number of calls for reposting to deprived communities.
We have a challenge with teacher deployment to rural areas, especially deprived districts. And the challenge is persistent because teachers refuse posting. When they are posted there, they find their way out of the place. The average number of years teachers are spending in the private district is less than 3 years. And that should be a matter of concern to all. Even though we have about 8,000 more teachers than we need, using our people-teacher ratio analysis, and the number of classrooms we have in primary schools, we still have about 5,000 classrooms without teachers in the primary school alone. And when you have empty classrooms in deprived districts, in the midst of surplus teacher availability at the national level, then it means that the system that distributes teachers is deficient. The reason why it's deficient is because we don't have information to demand accountability from the GNS. So we have called on the GNS to publish its teacher posting data, starting from this year. Teachers they just posted. They should publish it on their website so that citizens, CSOs, media can go on their website and get to know that Kofi Asare was posted to a school in Mekukrum. And then go to Mekukrum.
It's News Night, and we'll take another breather. I'll be back shortly. Welcome back to News Night. It's time for us to go for business updates, and Winston Taki is the man to do that. He's with us in the studio. Winston, you're welcome. Good evening.
Good evening, Annie. Now, as you said, it's time for business. We'll be right back after this. And now to a fourth business story. A private legal practitioner, David Ofosu-Dorte, has described as worrying the hesitation of private sector firms to leverage on the Africa Continental Free Trade Area.
Ofosu-Dorte, who was addressing the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences Forum 2022 in Accra, said the failure to develop a corporate strategy by businesses was not the lack of knowledge of the AFCFTA, but the lack of ability to take advantage of the initiative and see Africa as a big market for their products.
Currently, Nigeria imports almost next to nothing, whilst Ghana must, even though we have an advantage to actually put rice in a sensitive category, we import so much rice that under the AFCFTA we cannot do that. So at times it is not just the AFCFTA, but the strategy you use in order to attain the advantage which the AFCFTA gives you. And again, these are the ways that I think private sector must be looking at things.
Speaking on the topic, African Continental Free Trade Area, implications for private sector development, Ofosu-Dorte said the private sector needed an enterprising mindset to succeed under the initiative.
Previously, the private sector would be dealing with just government, regulators, banks, etc. But with the AFCFTA, the After Secretariat, for example, become a significant part of the ecosystem. How rules of origin are organized becomes part of the ecosystem.
Now, according to the Bank of Ghana's latest monetary policy report, 2,777 job adverts were recorded as compared with 2,806 for the same period of April 2021. There is more in the following report.
In selected print and online media, which partially gauges labor demand in the economy, decreased marginally in April 2022 compared to the same period last year. According to the Bank of Ghana's latest monetary policy report, 2,777 job adverts were recorded as compared with 2,806 for the same period in 2021. This indicated a marginal decline of 1.0% year-on-year. On a month-on-month basis, the number of job vacancies in April this year dipped by 3.6% from the 2,882 jobs advertised in March 2022. Cumulatively, 11,029 advertised jobs were recorded for the first 4 months of 2022, compared with 11,646 jobs advertised during the same period in 2021. Meanwhile, the total number of private sector needs contributors, which partially gauges employment conditions, marginally improved by 1.0% to 861,121 in March 2022. On a month-on-month basis, the total number of private sector needs contributors decreased by 3.0% from the 887,441 individuals recorded in February 2022. Cumulatively, for the first quarter of 2022, the total number of private sector needs contributors decreased by 3.0% from the 887,441 individuals recorded in February 2022. Cumulatively, for the first quarter of 2022, The total number of private sector contributors increased to 2,637,883 from 2,514,756 recorded over the corresponding period in 2021.
Let's now bring you an update on how the Ghana cedi is faring against global major currencies and also the prices of commodities across the world. That's all for business here on News 9. My name is Winston Taki. Back to Annie for the rest of the bulletin. Annie?
Right, Winston, thank you so much for the news updates. Now let's go for a breather. We'll be back shortly with more.
Welcome back. The head coach of the senior national team, the Black Stars, Otto Addo, has indicated that despite the various challenges the team is facing presently, they will be ready for the opening match of the Four-Nation tournament against Japan tomorrow.
First of all, on behalf of the Ghana national team and the federation, I'd like to thank you for the invitation. And we're very happy to be here, to be part of this traditional tournament. It's a good possibility for us to challenge, compete against the best teams all over the world. And it's going to be very, very tough. We saw the last match from Japan. They are very, very good players. I know a lot of players from the Bundesliga, like Endo. They have international players playing all over Europe. Very, very tough squad. Had a good last match against Brazil, and it's going to be a very, very tough match. I think we worked together as a team the last matches, especially when we had the World Cup qualification against Nigeria. We showed that we can play forward good.
Well, let's look at results of the African Cup of Nations qualifier. Nigeria, where in Abuja, they managed to beat Sierra Leone by 2-1. The results will be on your screen pretty soon. Let's start with South Sudan. They were home, but Mali were too strong. They beat them by 3-0. Cameroon also managed to beat Burundi by 1-0. In Addis Ababa, it was a shocker of the day because Ethiopia managed to beat not Italy, that should be Egypt by 2-0. Lesotho will play against Ivory Coast tomorrow. So it's Morocco taking on South Africa. Those are results of the African Cup of Nations qualifier that we play in Ivory Coast 2023. Uganda drew 1-1 with Niger. In Arusha, Tanzania, Algeria were too strong. They beat them by 2-0. Congo managed to go past the Gambia by 1-0. Whilst in Khartoum, Sudan beat Congo by 2-0. The Japs from Maputo, that is Mozambique, went all the way to Cotonou and they beat Benin by 2-0, by the way. That's your sports. Harriet is standing by for the latest in showbiz.
Thank you, Johnny. It's time for entertainment news. Ghanaian hip-life artist and rapper Guru NKZ on Entertainment Review today has reiterated the need for Ghanaians to support artists beyond social media. According to him, songs are easily killed because artists are always in a hurry to release hit songs.
Social media is really doing good. It's making it very easy. And like the likes of the KTT, right? Kwesi, Kweku.
Yeah, Kweku the Traveler. Yeah.
I think it is the moment. And the funny thing is, this moment that we projecting and now we experiencing don't keep long. Like you have a song within a week, and the next second week, a song will take over.
Yeah.
with the influence of TikTok. So to me, I think we should appreciate their works and help prolong the longevity of the song.
Good.
Instead of we easy killing songs and brands now, because the moment the song comes out, another person is thinking about trashing out that song in a week, and we don't even impact more on our iTunes pages and all that. We are not doing well with the streaming sites, which is also not helping the songs to stay long. So basically, I think it's a certain agenda we all should embark on, which is the industry.
He also bemoaned the lack of identity the Ghana music industry has.
We have that one there. We have just that we it's not organized.
Okay.
And it lacks. Should I use the word? The regulative body is not there.
The frontiers are not really doing their work.
You see, it starts from the top, which is the government. These are the main key players of the game, which is the ministries, and then it comes down to the GAMRO and the music. Then it goes down to the stakeholders and everybody. If the top is not effective, bound by laws, the rules and regulations, the down no will do anything. They are consumers. They just pick anything and mix it, turn into something else. So my problem is, why can't we tighten our laws in terms of the content we have in Ghana or what comes to Ghana? Now everybody is selling its country with with music, culture. Yeah. And when I'm in Ghana, it's like I'm in New York. We lack the typical Ghanaian. I don't see it. There are more telenovelas playing massive role on our TV screens, which is wrong.
They've been translated.
They don't do that in Mexico or in the US or anywhere. So why are you doing it? Why wouldn't you invest, cut some money, like $25 million like this? Give it to the entertainment sector, which is the movie side or the music side. Push like 10 million. Let's put like $1 million in on any artist. Like if it is Kwame Eugene, Stonebwoy, or whoever, just invest that 1 million. These guys will come home with Grammys, and they will project the tourism site, and they will project the things we have in Ghana to the world. Because right now, if Burna Boy is on any big platform, what is he doing? He's projecting Niger. Though it's Africa. But where is he from? What about you?
Well, that's it for entertainment news on Newsnight. My name is Harriet Adiani.
Thank you, Harry, for that. Let's now take news from elsewhere. Now, in international funds, 14 people have died in an armed dispute between small-scale miners in the remote gold mining town in the southern Peru. Now, the violence was the latest incidence of unrest in Peru's increasingly volatile mining sector. So, following a recent fire allegedly set by the Wildcat copper miners at Southern Copper Coast Los Chances project. Now, the incident occurred between June 1 and June 2 in the province of the Caravelli in Peru's South Arequipa region. Marco Quadros, and head of the Arequipa Police Criminal Division, told journalists. Quadros said 7 people were found dead by firearms, and that on Tuesday, 7 more bodies were found in the conflict zone. The causes of the death are still under investigations. And that's what we have for you this evening. Newsnight came to you live from the Equiampo studio at North Ridge and also streamed on channel 277 DSTV. My name is Ania Fonko. Join us again at 9 with Paul Adumochiri for Good Evening Ghana.